Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another video. We're looking at the texture update that's planned to come in 7.0 with Dawntrail, the new expansion hitting Final Fantasy XIV. We had a lengthy trailer. I honestly wish it was more lengthy during the keynote yesterday on the 28th of July 2023, and we got a first look at where they're at in terms of a graphical update. Now, some things look better than others, and as a result of it not being final, they say they've got a long way to go, but this is where we're at, and they knew that people would want to see. So first of all, I've created characters in the video game in character creation to give a better side-by-side comparison. Obviously on Ultra Graphics, DirectX 11 on the left, and of course we have the new versions as they are at the moment on the right side of the screen. I think when it comes to Higher, I was very impressed with the way that the eyes look. There's not a lot of distinguishing features other than, you know, their basic human faces, right? That's what it comes down to. There's no animal ears, there's nothing like that, no horns. So it's hard to really see the side-by-side comparison, but it is one heck of a glow up, and especially when it comes to things like retinas and the hair. So the lighting in this sort of dev area that they demonstrated is not the greatest. I would have hoped that they would have put some scenery behind it, but again, this is just in some kind of light room or something, dev room. It is a huge striking difference side by side with the previous models though, especially when it comes to the Elezen. I really think that the ears, for example, are a great example of how that skin texture has been improved upon, and with real reflections and lighting from the actual game, then this will look 10 times better. Again, remember, we don't have the warmth of different colors being displayed on the characters in this right side demonstration. All we've got is the basic character in a white boxed room, and if you know anything about color, then you're not going to get any from just pure white. You need to split that down. I really like it though as a good example. I think the most striking examples are definitely some of the female characters definitely strike out to me more because I see a lot more of those in the game than I do male characters. I think Aura is getting the biggest glow up though, especially on the males. The scale sort of texture on the horns is just unbelievable. I cannot believe how good that looks. There are plenty of NPCs that would definitely benefit from that glow up, and for the females as well, same could be said. They look absolutely amazing now. They look even more cool than they already did, and I like the focus on the scales and the extra bits that ordinarily kind of just blends into the skin. Obviously we've got Highlander, which is something I really didn't even think about. I'd forgotten what a Highlander was, honestly. Yeah, I kind of forgot these guys existed, like I say. I actually did a previous version of this video that I had to sort of change because I mistook them for Rogadin. I don't know how, but it was late. That's my only excuse. I will say that they have kept them true to how they are. You don't see a lot of Highlanders in the game, or at least I don't see that many people play Highlander. It is, you know, it is a human at the end of the day, and it is a very specific type. You've got to really, really want to play as that burly sort of character. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea, but wow, you can't deny that they've kept it as close to the original as possible, and they have definitely worked hard to keep that mantra across the board, keeping it as close to the character that you potentially have played for 10 years or more, but also give it a glow up, and I guess that's the way that it's going to go straight forward. Then we've got Rogadin looking pretty special there. I do like the way that they've kept the Minecraft nose and sort of just rounded it off a little bit. Looks like a Minecraft villager slightly still, which is good. Got to keep it as close to the original. With Mikote, they've basically just worked very heavy on the eyes, I feel. The eyes and the nose. I will say the one thing I would have expected more detail on, which probably will come on, is the ears. I think that the hair texture on the ears is a little bit rough. I think that could do with a little bit of tweaking, but again, like, this is early days still, and I think what they have achieved is quite impressive so far with those texture remaps. I'd like to see some proper lighting and shadows on the character. Lalafel's look fantastic. I will say Lalafel's kind of look really shiny now. I'm not sure if that's an intentional thing or what, but again, those eyes looking like big golden balls in the darkness. Very nice. Yeah, I think they've been pretty faithful to Lalafell. I think that this hair that they've chosen as a demonstration was actually arguably one of the worst options they could have chosen. I think that it looks, very rough, and they're very brave for showing this, especially when there are lots of other hairstyles that they could have demonstrated here that are way simpler. They've got much easier lines. So I think there's a little bit of work to do on that because it looks a little bit rough there on the hairline, but again, early days. But the rest of the face and the way that the skin has been reworked, I'm a bit of a fan of that. That looks really good. And then Viero is something I didn't expect to see any significant changes to, but the glow up on that is actually quite impressive and alarming. I didn't think that there was anywhere to go because they're relatively new, right? They're relatively recently added to the game. The hairline is especially impressive. The skin texture looks more like sort of doll-like, but then again, they're not showing it with any blemishes or face paint or proper lighting here or shadows, so it's going to look incredible in the game. Hrothgar definitely looks more rugged. They've worked on trying to make it look less like skin and more like actual fur, and that's definitely coming across in spades. Very impressive work so far, but again, some people might go, oh, this is just, slightly more HD textures. Yes, it's an intermediary process. They're not final with this, and I would definitely be hyped for what's to come, especially if this is just the first major step. Remember, we haven't seen anything from this from those original shots, and they've had to work very hard to see what they can and cannot do, what textures they can improve, what polygons they can tweak with, the amount of things that they show on screen, and that's especially relevant when we talk about the environments as well. There was a lengthy section on the materials that were used. There's a side-by-side comparison of these big stone pillars that are emblazoned with like a serpent made of gold with scales running up and down it. In the game currently, a lot of that is found within Stormblood, right? We have the red and the gold, and it's sort of pitted and it's like a matte texture hidden away in the shadows. The lighting isn't doing it any justice in the original, but now it's got this huge reflective gaze. I think a lot more of the scenery is going to pop out to the point where we question if it was ever there to begin with, and then we'll look back at previous footage or pictures that we might have saved on our hard drive and go, oh boy, that was there, but it looks completely different. So that's a good glow up. You want the environments of the game to be the thing that glows up the most, and the reason I say that is because the majority of the time you're spending a lot of time with your camera behind the character, right? You're always running around, you're doing dungeons, things like that. Not everybody is going to be zoomed into their face 24/7. However, you will be seeing cutscene locations, and I don't mean pre-rendered stuff, I mean stuff in the world, like in Uldar, for example, with a Realm Reborn is just filled with, let's go in this room with a table and chandeliers, and the chandeliers look amazing now. The lighting, it just feels warm. It feels like things are reflecting off surfaces. It provides the amount of light you would expect, so there are dark patches. The shadows have just, oh man, the shadows definitely are the thing to be excited for. If this all works well, then it's going to look fantastic. And then the biggest glow up is the striking Ilmeg, right? They picked the most vibrant place to show, and I think this is a great use of their new technology. It's like a scattering technology. It's auto-generated environments. So basically what happens is instead of increasing the polygon count of the actual item, they're being able to create more of it. It's like a blanketing tech to cover the ground and also increase the ground texture as well. So the before and after here is, the before is on the right, the after is on the left. It is night and day. You can even tell on the rock texture as well, like the ones in the distance. They really, really have worked quite hard to make the world look just mind-blowing. I think that the world is going to be the thing that gets the most love before the characters, and that's understandable, quite honestly. And honestly, all of this stuff isn't going to be in 7.0 at launch. This is going to be done 7.0 content, and then they're working their way backwards after that. So it's not going to be necessarily like every NPC is going to look fantastic, every player is going to look fantastic. The players should look fine, but some of the NPCs, they even say that they'll have a moment where an NPC that hasn't been updated will stand next to a updated one, and that's just the way it's going to be for a while as they work through the 7.x series to update huge swaths of sections, and presumably will take more than just one expansion, I would imagine, but we'll see. Depends how quick they are at turning this around. But with the new areas in Dawntrail looking absolutely fantastic, making use of this technology from the ground up, we're going to see things that just blow our minds, and then when we go back to older zones that haven't been touched yet, we're going to be like, wow, the glow up though. But when they do eventually get touched, then it's going to be very impressive. I especially like the armor and the arms and just the metal and the sword that was featured at the start of the trailer as well. Very impressive stuff. I'm looking forward to the graphics update. Let me know what you think below. Sorry for the re-upload. I kind of messed up a couple of things before, but it was pretty late in the morning. It was like 3 in the morning by the time I'd got that done. So much love, and I'll see you all next time for more Patch 7.0 and expansion news. Oh boy, it's just around the corner. I'm so excited. So excited.